Good morning. So I was over at Flavor of Tampa Bay yesterday with Ian Beckles, and they did a little video of me, and they posted it on their Insta stories and their Instagram, so make sure you guys follow them. But they thought that maybe you guys might be interested in watching a little how-to tutorial on how Barbie trims her brisket. So I thought I'd put something together for you real time. I've done lots of videos, but not really an instructional video, so I'm going to try to do it a little quickly so that we don't take up a whole lot of time, because it is going to be in real time. I'm going to hopefully get this done in under 10 minutes for you. Alright, so we're going to get started with as simple as how I open up my package of brisket. I know it sounds weird, like we know how to open up a package, but I keep one clean hand. So we're going to have, there's one end where they cut it, or they have like usually like a little excess, so I'll cut that off. And then what I do is I find the middle of it and cut it right down the middle. And then instead of trying to get it all, I make a letter V here, wherever it ends, I make like a letter V, and then it opens up that whole package for me. Because again, I want to keep one clean hand to handle stuff. That's just the way I like to do it. So I take the meat with one hand. I kind of hold my clean hand here, and I hold my butcher paper down. Now watch, I'm going to flip it over. One hand. Alright, so now I got this gone from here. I have a trash can underneath me for all of my waste to go to. And I'm going to start trimming up my brisket. So I'm going to show you guys where I go first. So if you look here, this side of the brisket. So first, this is the lean, and this is the fatty part. So lean brisket, fatty part of the brisket. It's also called the decal. So I'm going to remove this brown piece right here, all the way up the side of the brisket. So we're going to remove that first. So that's what I do first. Alright. What I usually do is kind of pick it up. I go at an angle here, and just follow it nice and close. I just use a fillet knife to trim my brisket. I find that it works best because the blade is nice and thin, so I can really get into the area that I want to get into and not get into the meat if I don't want to. So here, I'm going to take it here. Trying to do this at an angle for you guys so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing, but usually I would be holding it right in front of me. Alright, so you can get rid of all that. Okay, so now all this fat piece here, I remove all of this big fat piece right here. I'm going to remove all of that. Okay, there's like a little, kind of like a membrane. You can kind of hear it. Hear it? Remove all that. So this, all that goes in the trash. Okay, so I don't try to keep fat on here. I don't try to sell you fat for weight. I try to remove as much of it. Number one, I don't like to season my fat, because most people, if I'm going to season the fat, you're going to cut the fat off, and then it's going to stay on the side of your plate. So all that seasoning that I just took all that time to buy and love and blend for you guys just put it in your plate, and it's going to be trash. So why would I want to do that? I want to season my meat, not my fat. Plus, it doesn't stick to the fat very well, in my opinion. So here on the top part of the brisket, what I do to trim it is I kind of use like a bowing motion or form with my brisket. So I kind of pick it up so it like arches, almost like arching your back. So it creates this bend, which makes it easier if you're looking at like the fat part here. Watch. So that I can kind of get more into like where the fat is and get all that gone. Watch. See? With minimal waste. Minimal waste. Okay, so that's what we want. We want to trim the fat with minimal waste. So that's why I find that these fillet knives work really well, because the blade is nice and thin, and you can kind of, as you can see, keep the waste to a minimum. So I kind of just want to trim up the top part of this flat piece. So this is all, this whole piece from here to here is the flat. So if you look in here, this is where it, that to that, so this is the decal, this is the flat. This is the deckle, this is the flat. It's to be like a little song. Alright, so as you can see kind of where they meet, there's this membrane right here, this piece of fat membrane right here that connects the two. So it's actually two pieces made into one. Alright, so we are about done trimming this part of the brisket. Alright, take a peek at it. And we've got one little brown piece over here. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over, and again, I do it with one hand, so I take the point, I fold the brisket in half, I put my hand in the middle, pull my butcher paper down, right, and I have it with one hand, and I'm going to gently place it down, open it up, and now I have a brisket to work with. That's all the thing down. Alright, so now I'm going to find, so if you see right here, see where those two pieces meet? I'm going to show you where I put my knife, because I trim it a lot. I trim a lot of fat off. Probably more than most, but this is how I do it. So if you do it differently, you want to keep more fat on, more power to you. I'm just telling you how I do it. So I'm going to take this here. Now I'm short, so this works really easy for me because I can see. But if you're tall, come down here so you can see what I'm talking about, because if you're trimming up top, you're probably going to get into the meat. So you kind of want to be eye level with your brisket so that you can actually see where those two pieces meet, and you just take your knife and guide it so you don't cut into your meat. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So if you come down here, right, you can see where the two pieces meet. See that? Look. So now look, over here it kind of gets a little bit deeper, so I can actually go down a little bit farther, right, still without getting into the meat. Alright, you guys follow me along here? Look. Nice and easy. Okay, so look, we're following this meat along. Yeah, boy. Alright, look. Ooh. Now that. See? All fat. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to do this all the way around my brisket. So I'm going to work from this way to this way. So again, if I just keep on doing what I was doing, and just kind of go right back to the same spot, start at the bottom, and I'm going to fillet upward this way, right? And again, if I keep kind of low, more eye level with the brisket, I can see exactly where I'm trimming, right? Alright, so now, again, I'm going to use that bowing motion and kind of pick up on my brisket a little bit so that it gives bend, so I can trim it a little easier and closer to where my meat is. I told you guys I like to trim this thing up a lot. We're smoking hot and fast, so I'm trying to cook the meat and not so much render all this fat. Okay, so that's about done for that side. Alright, again, so if I kind of handle my brisket, I usually do it with one hand. I'm going to turn it this way. Oh. You're almost done with this flat here. Alright, so now I'm going to work on this piece right here. This piece is the same as done. So I got one little last membrane-y kind of piece that I want to get out of here. That's the technical term, membrane-y piece. Alright, so now I'm going to go into this piece. So, again, if you kind of see where it is, where it meets this piece and this piece, I want to be right in here. So get a nice close-up. I'm going to be right in here. And maybe this is where I trim briskets really different than other people. I don't know, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. This is how I do it. So I'm going to kind of take this, where the two pieces meet. You'll see where the two pieces meet here in a second as I start to open it up. So you kind of want to use your fingers and pull it open some. Right, so you're going to do this. Use your fillet knife. Nice and easy. You hear that? Alright, so you can see in here, I want you guys to see what I'm doing. You see that? Alright, so I'm going to keep doing that all the way down. And I'm going to keep paying attention and pulling up over here so that I'm not in the meat, but rather just pulling that membrane apart and nice and then as you can see the meat, you just guide it away from the meat. So take your knife and just go away from the meat a little bit. Okay, so now we have this pretty well opened up. Alright, so look. See that? I'm going to have it nice and opened up, and I want to trim all this excess fat off of here and off of the duck. I'm going to remove it. Now if I was making burnt ends, I would leave this a little heavier fat because it's going to need more time in the smoker, so I would want some more of that fat on there. So if you're making burnt ends, don't trim it up. I wouldn't trim it up, and I don't trim it up as much as I'm trimming up a regular brisket that I'm going to serve for platters and sandwiches. But this is the brisket that this is the brisket we're going to use for our afternoon crowd for brisket platters and sandwiches. So if you come in today and you happen to see this video, this is your brisket. You can see the time. So this will be later on today. So now, right here, there's this really big fatty piece. I'm going to remove this. I kind of take my knife, nice and easy. You kind of want to find it. The first cut is the deepest. So that first cut is kind of what's important because it's going to allow you to guide that knife all the way down without removing any meat. So if you guys wonder why brisket gets so expensive and like why is brisket so expensive, well, this is one of the reasons, because before you ever even get this bad boy in the smoker, there's so much waste in my trash can of those fats, and I don't want to sell you guys fat and give you guys something that you're not going to eat. So I serve you guys what I would want to be served, and that's why I make my food the way that I do. So here we go. We're almost done trimming this brisket, believe it or not. Alright, so here we go. Last couple little pieces. Just kind of clean it up a little. Alright, so this piece right here, we're back to this piece. See how it's nice and open now? Look at this. I can keep opening it up if I want. So I remove these little fat pieces in here. Alright, like I said, I remove a lot of it, guys. Like, I'm a trim queen. Trim queen, trim it up. Alright, so, one little piece here. Now, we basically have a trimmed brisket. I have one little brown fat thingy over here that I want to get rid of. Okay. And our brisket is trimmed. So now I'm going to season it real quick. I'm going to flip it back over. So I season top side up first. Okay. I spray it down with water. All of it. All the sides. Right in here, I lift this flap up and spray it with water in there. Okay, I'm going to take my salt. I'm going to salt my little flat. And then I'm going to put some brisket rub on my little flat. My little flat piece right there. Okay, and then I'm going to close it back up. make sure your sides are salted all around. And that water will just kind of help that salt and seasoning stick. So here we go, we're salting it up. You're so salty. You're so salty. So now we got our brisket rods. This would be kind of cool for a slow-mo, right? Yeah. Alright. So I don't usually like rub the meat, but I pat it down so that I don't mess up the granules so much and kind of keep them a little more whole, my spices. So I kind of just, I pat the meat down. So I kind of like, right? Pat, pat, pat. Sorry, pat, pat, pat the meat. Okay, here we go. Alright, so now we're going to flip it back over. Alright, so spray it some more. We're going to open up that flap again because I got to do the inside piece. Alright, so we got this. Some salt. Salted. Brisket. Rub right in there. We pat it down some. Ooh, I think I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Woo. You just said bless you, didn't you? In your brain, you said bless you. Thank you. That was pretty funny. Oh, that was a good one. Alright, I'm going to spray the top now. Alright. Salt on the top. And salt up here. And get the decal going. Alright. And now, I want to have 2 sets. Clean gloves. I want to show you the brisket because there's the smoker. If you can hear it, it's going off right now. It's beeping. I think it's cooling off. It needs some wood. So here is our brisket, all done. Look, all done. It's gonna go in the smoker now. I hope you guys got something out of this. I enjoyed making it for you. Have a wonderful day.